guys, how are you all? Well, I am back with the other stitch with me that I was probably supposed to have done like 2 weeks ago, but I mean that was before COVID hit and everything in Arrows. I hope you're all well. So this is a stitch with me working on, so I promised them I would do a stitch with me. Give me a second. I can't get it. Won't go. There we go. Where's my thing? You can probably tell actually it's my Simpsons one, so it's this one from, I think it's vipcrossstitch. I didn't even write it on. That's smart. Do you know what? I can check, and I'm going to because I don't want to get it wrong. Gmail. Ow, just pulled my own hair. How does that work? Right, there's their email. Now I just need to find the link. No, didn't want that one. That's probably the... No. Yeah, it is vipcrossstitch. I thought it was. So yeah, so I'm just working on this. Feels like it's been a busy week already, and we're, you know, I'm not even finished yet. I had a hospital appointment yesterday to have bloods taken. You can't do them at the doctor's anymore. Well, you can do them at the doctor's, I beg your pardon. The nurse does it, but you have to make an appointment so far in advance. You know, I want to get sorted, not left hanging. So they only had one appointment for the next 3 weeks, and it was yesterday morning. First thing in the morning. So I told Ellie she'd have to do her papers on her own with Riley. And the buses are so unreliable now. They've put them back to every half an hour now. So I have to leave home well in advance to make sure I'm there on time. And then when I got to the blood clinic, 'cause it's like an outside building now, it's not in the hospital itself. When I got there, there's a note, well there's several notes all around the door and the windows and the building and whatever, saying that you have to wait outside until your appointment time because they just don't have, they're still being COVID safe as well because they're wearing masks and stuff. But there isn't much of a waiting area inside, so they tell you to wait outside or in your car if you've driven there until your appointment time. Well, I went on the bus, so I was standing outside. They have a bench, but it was soaking wet, so yeah, not the best because I was stood there for ages. Well, I got there probably about 9:15. My appointment was at 9:50. So you can imagine how long I was standing there and my back, my goodness. But yeah, it was fairly quick and simple. And the lady who took my blood, she did it a way I've never seen anyone do it before. She had a feel of my arm, as they do, to find the vein and stuff. And then she says, I'm going to use the smaller one, and I'm like, the smaller one? So she showed me the big needle and the little needle. She says, I think she said, because my vein was quite small, so she was going to use a smaller needle. She said, it'll hurt you less. Oh, I was so honoured by that. No one's ever said that or done that for me before. So she, well, hey, so she put the needle in my arm, but she had a syringe on it, so she pulled back on the syringe to get the blood flowing into the syringe. And then once she'd taken all the blood she needed, she then changed the end and put it into the blood, I don't even know what they're called, the little collection sample bottle things that they send off to the lab. So yeah, I've just got to wait now because the doctor was checking me for vitamin deficiencies because of all the symptoms I've had. He said could point to that. his first thought, I think, was MS, because he asked me if I'd had any issues with my eyes. I said no, but there is an issue. I thought about it afterwards. There is an issue I have that I mentioned to my optician. And she didn't say anything specifically about it, but I told her months ago. What happens is sometimes I'll just be, I don't know, looking at my phone or stitching, obviously. And then just so randomly, out of nowhere, my eyes will just, I want to say wobble, but that's just a silly word, isn't it? It's like my eyes do a very rapid, they do that for a few seconds and then it stops. It's really weird. But I didn't think to mention that to him. I don't know if that matters. I just feel like I'm falling apart. So yeah, and then drop my needle. Then yesterday afternoon, me and all the kids had the dentist. Rob will not go to a dentist. He hasn't been to one in years. His choice. I'm not going to argue with him about it, but yeah, Tyler, oh, that child. He keeps forgetting to put his retainers in, which I told the dentist, and she said, do they still fit? He said, She says, okay, can you not force them in, but, you know. He says, I can. She said, does it hurt? He said, a little. So she's just, you know, told him, what are you doing? He's got to have 3 fillings. There we go. Which he's all booked in for. Then Riley went up. Riley's got an adult tooth growing out the side of his gum instead of pushing the old tooth out and growing down. She says the baby tooth that's underneath it is hanging on for dear life, which apparently it's one of those teeth that can and do quite often. So she told Riley he's got a choice. Either make an appointment and she will take the tooth out for him, because the one that's growing out the gum has kind of made the baby tooth go back in slightly. I think that's what she meant. Or he can wobble and wobble and wobble and get it out himself. He couldn't make the decision, so the dentist says make the appointment, and if in the meantime, you know, he manages to wobble it out or changes his mind that he's going to wobble it out, then just cancel it. And then, other than that, his teeth are pretty good, considering he's got some condition. Then Ellie went up, and here's a fine. And then there was me. Where do I start? I've been having, well, I think you guys know, I think I do keep telling you. I had an infection. It started off with, I think, an abscess in the gum. So she treated me for that one. Then when I went back, I said it was still causing me problems. She did an x-ray and found sinusitis. So she gave me antibiotics for that, quite strong ones as well. I think they were like 500. I never remember, is it microgram or milligram? I think it's microgram. Anyway, the strongest painkiller, penicillin. So I took that. Things were, by the time I took the last one, the worst of it had gone. But there was still, you know, when something just niggles. And you just know, don't you, that something's not quite right. So I went back and I said, look, you know, something isn't right. My gum feels extremely smooth. So she had a look, found that lump in my gum with, it was just like a bag of push, she said. Yeah, I remember saying that to you guys last time. So she lanced it, drained out what she could. She didn't want to give me antibiotics because I just had 2 loads, one for an abscess, one for sinusitis. She said, I don't want to do anything, you know, you've had 2 lots, I don't, yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, so I took the antibiotics. No, I didn't. She told me not to take antibiotics. She said, I've lanced it, leave it. Just salt water rinse 4 times a day. My goodness, that stuff is nasty. I think I got used to it in the end, but it's not the best, is it, salt water? Anyway, I kept rinsing. The worst of it's gone, but I can, when I press, like my gum, it's a little tender, but nothing I can't live with. So she had a look yesterday and says, right, okay, you've still got some infection in there, but it's draining itself. I assume because she pushed on my gum, and I assume some must have come out. So she says, but it is draining. But she said, I'm more inclined, does it hurt you? And I went, no, not really. I said, I don't really eat over that side of my mouth. So she laughed and said, okay, have you ever accidentally chewed over there? I said, yeah. She said, does it hurt when you do? I said, no. So she said she was more inclined to just leave it as it is for now. And then just, if it gets worse, go back, obviously. So that's me done for 6 months now. Thank goodness. It's just the 2 kids have got to go back. So yeah, yesterday was an extremely busy day. I'm one of these people that if I've got, like, excuse me, if I know I've got an appointment kind of later on or in the middle of the day or something, I can't sit down, I can't relax. Pulled it out. Because I know I've got to go out. So I don't want to get myself settled, shall we say. Let me just chop the top off. Oh, guys, by the way, these were, hey, come back. Oh, it's having a moment. Stay. These, they are fantastic. They are so sharp. Really, really sharp. They're quite pointy on the end, which is why I keep this, just in case someone puts their hand on my tub and catches it. But these are awesome. Very sharp scissors. I just wanted to cut the end off here. Look how easy that glided through. Awesome scissors. I think they were about $5, weren't they? They were well worth it. So, and the weather here today is, as usual, grey, miserable. It's raining. Am I even in camera? There we go. And when it's raining, it's a nightmare because I have to have a brolly when I help Ellie with her papers. And then I find it hard to post the papers because I've only got one hand free. So I'm constantly having to put the brolly down. It's like a juggling act. What else have we... Oh, do you know what? I remembered. I said on my floss tube, I don't think there's anything else to share with you. But there was. There absolutely was. And I only realised this morning, actually, you know, several days later, that I didn't share my little dot mandala canvas. So I'll have to show that next time. Oh, yeah. I've also had a couple of people say they want to see my master floss set, how I've done it. So I'll show that on my next floss tube too. But I just my goodness, years ago, when I took an extremely long break from cross stitch, I used to do card making and stuff like that. So I had this, I believe it's called like a tote bag. And inside, when you pulled the zips down and pulled the front of the bag down, were these 5 plastic tubs. You know, the kind where you've got to lift the flap thing up and it's got one both sides and it hurts your fingers. Yeah, well, I've got one of them. So I decided, you know what, I'm not even going to buy myself bobbin storage. I'll just use that. So that's what I did. And it works pretty well. Oh hey, I've managed to get all of my threads in 5 boxes. I've still got room in the 5th because I've just ordered the last, I think it's 49 threads that I need to complete the set. So there should be enough room with what I've got left in the last box. It just means I'll have to do some juggling, moving around to fit them all in. But you know, it took me so many days to bobbinate them all, label them all, and then, you know, I was thinking, it'll take a few hours, or will it? Heck, it took me a good couple of days. Even I did have Ellie helping me at one point. Now, the bobbins I happened to buy were card, just because it was cheaper. Where have I put this? Scissors. Oh, yeah. Yes, I bought the card ones because you get a lot more for the price. And when I went to check the ones, I went to put them in order in my tubs, the ones Ellie had done, I realised she'd actually not realised there was 2 thread bobbins, 2 card bobbins stuck together, so she just used them like that. So all of her threads had 2 bobbins, so I had to unwind them. Oh my gosh. I think she quit after that. She's like, yeah, I'm not doing any more. My kids, they're such quitters, man. I'm one of these people that are like, no, I've got this, I will do it. My kids are like, yeah, no, I've had enough of that already, I'm bored. Ellie's asked me to crochet her a couple of hats. Oh my gosh, guys, I found, you know me and new crafts. It's not a new craft, it's crochet, but I've never done what they call a mosaic blanket. I mean, I've done my colourwork ones, which you guys have all seen, which is called Grafgans. But this is like, you're working one row in one colour and the next row in the other colour. But what you're doing is you're alternating the stitches so that one, so that one pops out above the, I can't explain it. An overlay mosaic is what it's called. So if you look that up, you'll see what I mean. But I found this one particular crochet along they must have done last year. And it's called a Nordic mosaic blanket. And I so want to try the overlay mosaic blanket. It looks awesome. So I've gone and collected all the patterns. Hang on a minute, I'll show you one of the patterns actually. This is, so like, I think they're overlay crochet ones, those ones. Let me just, one of these has got like a key on it. There we go. So the plain black ones are back loop single crochets, so you're leaving the front loop open. The ones with the X's are front loop only double crochet, where you drop down and you double crochet into the front loop you've left up here. So it overlays. I should have printed out a picture of the whole thing, but never mind. So I'm going to give that a try. I've just got to sort out, I'm going to see what wool I've got that I can use before I go and buy any. Because you guys know me, I have a ton of wool. So yeah, another thing I'm looking into. And then because you've searched up one thing on YouTube, it kind of gives you suggestions. Because you've watched this, you might like this. And then I got into the whole oh nuts, did I catch that? Yes, I did. Hold on. Yeah. A mosaic blanket is generally worked in 2 colours only. Right, come on. And then this video happened to pop up, which is similar to one you've watched. Why is it being silly? Oh no. Aha, got it. There we go. Yeah, so it recommended this other video where they work the Nordic mosaic crochet, no, the mosaic crochet in 3 colours instead of 2, and it tells you how to manage your threads and how to change colours, where to change colours. But the blanket, when the blanket's finished, I mean, my Grafgans, they're not very thick. It's all single crochet and it's just constant colour changing. So they're not very thick, but the mosaic blankets, because you're kind of stitching over some of the stitches you did before, you get quite a thick blanket. So I want to do the Nordic mosaic blanket because it's thicker, but I'm going to need to make it wider because I want it to be able to go on my bed. It's going to take a while to make, but you guys know me in new crafts. I figure it out and then that's just another one to add to the pile. And then I'm expecting a cross stitch that a lady sent to me to complete for her. That should be here either today or tomorrow, I should think. I'm not sure because they've reduced the postal service. I'm sure they said it was every other day now. I could be wrong, but I've actually seen Royal Mail delivering on Sundays parcels, and it just shocked me because they've never ever worked on Sundays for as long as I can remember. So that was a bit of a shock. Perhaps they're behind and trying to catch up. I know the Royal Mail was in trouble for a while. Well, do you know what? I'm enjoying doing this. I don't know if it's because I had appointments and stuff yesterday, but I just couldn't focus on anything. It's like my brain had an overload. He's like, yeah, I've dealt with enough today, I can't. So I didn't touch any of my cross stitch at all yesterday, not even my printed ones. And that's unusual for me. I do have days like that. It's just, you know, when you can't think. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, it's like my brain just said, no, I've had enough to deal with today. I really don't want to be doing cross stitching. Which is a shame because I love getting my cross stitches out. I have got another unboxing to do, which I will probably do later today and upload a little bit later. And then I think I've got 2 other parcels that are out, but they won't be here yet. And the unboxing I've got to do today, they are 2 really cutesy ones and 1 just a seasonal one. Oh yeah, there was one I had, was it 3 kits or 4 that were 18 count, and I said I was going to test to see if the ink came off. It did. I was so happy when I was starting to watch the ink dissolve. The only problem I have is that I left the water on it. I put too much on the edge because then it started soaking into the pan. But I've got the chart, so the bit that's missing I can just work from the chart. It's fine. Oh no. Cute. Yeah, it's only a small thing. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, that means all the 18 counts are sorted now, unless they've put a label on the site saying that that one particularly is, oh hey, unwashable. No, don't do that. Do you know what? My coffee's going cold. He brought it in before I started, 25 minutes ago. Do you know what? That's still really warm. I found this a bit odd. Usually they put a contrasting colour. It's not very, it's okay, it's not the same, but you know, I thought it would have been something a little bit more different. Hang on. There we go. Oh, my dad rang me the other day. Oh my gosh, I am so envious. He says, we have a new companion. Him and his wife. I was like, I heard. He's got a new German Shepherd puppy. Well, I say puppy, she's about a year old. He got her from a rescue. She was actually a stray, which is extremely unusual because she's a German Shepherd. Long-haired, just like the one from when we were kids that we grew up with, Purdy. And my dad is just so oh nuts, happy. His wife Caroline had a dog when they met and married, and they had to have her put down, him I think, put down a few weeks ago, and I think that kind of destroyed Caroline a little bit. And then finally it was like, do you know what, we'll just pop in and have a look in these charity kennel thingies that they have. He says, and the last kennel of all, there she was. And she was sitting sideways, I think he said up against the glass. And he fell in love with her. And the lady that owned the place said, you can take her for a walk if you like. And he did. Oh, he did. He said she was so good. So he said, we want her, but we've got a holiday booked in a week's time for a week. And they were like, yeah, do you know what, we'll hang on to her for you. You know, it's no bother for us to hold on to her. And my dad offered to give them something, you know, monetary wise, just for looking after her while he's away, because they are, I think, a charity. So he picked her up last week. I think she's had 2 accidents in the house so far, which my dad puts down to a new place, new people, you know, just nerves really, he said, because this week she hasn't done it. Bless her. I'm going to have to ask my sister for the pictures. I should have stayed there and did these for you. So yeah, if I could afford one, I'd have a German Shepherd any day. They are so loyal, protective. I mean, my mum and dad's German Shepherd Purdy, she protected us with everything. Absolutely everything. Outside the house once, I mean, me and Tina, I think we were only little at the time. And mum and dad were out with Purdy and us, obviously, and then my mum and dad's friend. Now, he'd always played with us, like tickle and whatever. And he happened to, while we were out that one day, pick my sister up and start running with her on his shoulder, just to make her squeal, not for anything else. And Purdy, oh my gosh, my dad says he's never seen her run so fast. She was going for him because in her mind he was going to hurt her, and they had to scream at the top of their lungs, put her down. And he did. Unfortunately, Purdy didn't bite, but she knew him, that's the thing, right? He'd been in her house several times, she'd had fusses from him. But all that's irrelevant when she thinks they're hurting one of us kids. She was so good, so good. I loved her, I did. She'd come and sit by you, put her head on your lap for a fuss. She did even used to climb on the settee too. But my dad put a stop to that just because. But I used to love brushing her fur. Oh, she was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I think we had three German Shepherds all in all when I was young. Ouch. I tend to find with these needles, they dig into your skin. You see that? The end digs into my skin and it makes a hole in the end. Yeah, because it started to break the skin. It's probably just the way I'm holding the needles, but I'm glad I've started this kit now, because now I can just work on it. I have put it off for a while, what with COVID and everything, and then just other things going on. So, but I'm on it. The Winnie the Pooh one needs to get finished. Oops. One of my threads has gone looser. There we go. Now, which ones? I hate trying to determine which side is the short ends and which side is the long ends. And it doesn't matter because one's pulled out now. Right, I'm going to have to trim them. So I've got one long one, two short ones. Where's the short one? There we go. I think one of the cats is trying to pick their way into the front room. I can hear like the clicking on the, not the clicking, but it's like someone picking at the door. I don't think it would be Luna. She doesn't pick to come in, she picks to go out. Binks is probably waiting for his dinner because it is like 12:15 now. So, I've used both of those strands. So I'm going to leave you guys there. I'm going to make a note of what I need to share with you on my next floss tube because this is why I forget. There we go. So guys, this is what I have managed to get done today. The top of Homer's hand. And I can already tell that's going to look great. Okay guys, enjoy the rest of your week, whatever you do. I will put a link to this in the description box for you, just in case you want to go and check it out for yourself. And a link to their store in case you want to go and check out some others. And the discount code I think I have for you to use. Other than that, guys, as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.